Hello and welcome to Nikolay's genetics lessons, and today we are going to talk about false positive and false negative, and today's example is not going to be related to genetics or to medicine. Instead we are going to use different example, but nevertheless it's going to demonstrate two conceptions of the false positive and false negative. So here's a problem. At the Crispy Foods factory, cookies are tested for crispiness with the following results. For cookies that are really crispy, the test says yes 90% of the time. For cookies that are not crispy, the test says yes 15% of the time, false positive. If 95% of all cookies are crispy, and for the randomly selected cookie, the Crispy Foods test says yes, what are the chances that the cookie really crispy? According to our problem, all the cookies produced by Crispy Foods factory fall into two categories. 95% of them are crispy. That means that 5% of them are not crispy. So let's show it here. So crispy would be yes. Yes for crispy. And they are going to make 95% of all the cookies produced by this company. And not crispy, going to be 5%. Next, for cookies that are really crispy, the test says yes 90% of the time. So 90% of the time, test says that cookies are crispy. That means that in 10% of the times it says it is not crispy. So yes here and no here. Those they are actually crispy, but test accuracy is not 100%. In 90% it says correctly, in 10% it says not correctly. So this is going to be false negative. They are going to be crispy, but test shows that they are not crispy. Next, for the cookies that are not crispy, so belong to this category, the test says yes 15% of the time. So this is false positive. So again, they fall into two categories. And 15% of the time, these cookies are not crispy, test says they are crispy. So 15% yes. And that means that 85% it would say no, they're not crispy, and test shows they are not crispy. So this is correct test, and this is going to be false positive. Cookies are not crispy, but test shows they are crispy. So this is false positive. Now let's find the frequency of each category. For example, we have to multiply these numbers here to find the frequency of this branch, of this category. So we have to multiply 90% by 95%, and the frequency of this category is going to be 85.5%. So what kind of this category? These cookies are crispy, and test shows that they are crispy, so showing true results. So we can say that this is true positive. Now let's find the frequency of the second category, which are crispy, but due to test inaccuracy, it shows that they are not crispy. Again, we have to multiply these numbers, so these frequencies, and we are going to get, again, we have to multiply by 95%, and frequency of this category is going to be 9.5%. And this is going to be false negative. So let's put two letters, false negative, for this category. Now let's check two other categories that are not crispy, but due to test inaccuracy, 15% of this category would be false positive. Again, in order to find the frequency, we just have to multiply these numbers. So we have to multiply 15% by 5%. And the frequency of this category is 0.75%. So this is going to be false positive. So false positive, false positive. And the last one would be those cookies which are not crispy, and test shows that they are not crispy. So again, we have to multiply these numbers. So we have to multiply by 5%. And the frequency of this category is going to be 4.25%. These cookies are not crispy, and test shows that they are not crispy. So this is going to be true, negative. Now let's read our question again. If 95% of all cookies are crispy, and for randomly selected cookies the crispy foods test says yes, what are the chances that the cookie is really crispy? So I want to underline really crispy. So we have one category that really crispy here, true positive, but also we have false positive, falsely crispy, those cookies that are not crispy, but they test as if they're crispy, and this category makes 0.75%. So we have to combine these two numbers, so 85.5% plus 0.75%. So we are going to get 86.25% here. So this number stands for 86.25% of all cookies which after testing would test positive for crispiness. But only 85.5% would be true crisp. So what we have to do, we have to divide 85.5 by 86.25, and we are going to get 99.13%, and this is going to be our answer. If we randomly choose cookie in this company and it's going to be crispy, the probability that is true crispy is 99.13%, and probability that it's not going to be crispy, it is mistake due to inaccuracy of the test, as you see, is going to be 0.87%. We call this false positive or false crispy. And this is all for today. Subscribe and see you in the next video. Goodbye.